sub-layers, that is the logical link control and the media access control. The LLC communicates with the network layer, and it also identifies which network layer protocol is being used for a frame. So the network layer protocol here is talking about IP version 4 or version 6 or any layer 3 protocol. So it allows multiple layer 3 protocols such as IP version 4 and 6 to utilize the same network interface and media at the same time. These are the functions of the LLC. And the media access control, the MAC sublayer, defines the media access process that is performed by the hardware and provide data link layer addressing and access to various network technologies. And also the function of the MAC sublayer is that it communicates with the Ethernet to send and receive frames over the copper or fiber optic cable. And it also communicates directly with wireless technologies such as Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So like I said, the data link layer in the previously, or just at the beginning of my video, that the data link layer is the only layer of the OSI layers that is further divided into two sublayers, that is the LLC and the MAC sublayer. So the media access control is the data link layer governs how to format a frame from for use on one different media to another media. So different protocols may be in use for different media, and therefore each hop along the way will make sure that it interferes with any data. So the hub here might be a router. Any device that does encapsulation, and the encapsulation is called a hub. What it does is that as soon as a media or a frame comes into it, or a data comes into it, it will de-encapsulate this data and put it into a new frame that is encapsulated into a new frame and forward it. Any router that receives this frame along the way will de-encapsulate and encapsulate it into a new frame. So providing access to network to media. At each hop along the path, a router will accept a frame from a medium, and then it will de-encapsulate the frame and then re-encapsulate that packet into a new frame and forward it to the appropriate media of that segment. So these organizations are responsible for the data link addressing. So engineering organizations that define open standard and protocol that apply to the network access layer include the IEEE, E2, ISO, and the ANSI. So the media access control is our last bit here. Sharing the media, we have two different types of topology. We have different types of topology, but it's important that we talk about the shared medium and the control-based medium. So with this shared medium, we need to have rules in a shared medium in order for us to avoid collisions. If we live together, we have to make sure we put some rules to avoid collisions. So that's why the police said, before you enter the road, you have to make sure that you check both sides of the road to see that there is no car coming, so you can enter the road. So that's exactly that. Those are the rules that device will also have to set if they have a shared medium. So the media access control is the equivalent of traffic rules that regulate, like I was just saying. So however, not all roads and entrances are the same. So traffic can enter the road by merging or by waiting for its turn at a stop sign or by obeying signal lights. Not guardians that will just go to the street and then they will see that the street light is still red and they will come vip and then they hit somebody down. So the physical topology refers to the physical connections and identify how end devices and infrastructure devices such as routers, switches, and wireless access points are interconnected. And there the logical topology refers to how a network transfers frame from one computer or from one router's interface to another interface. So we have the physical one topologies. We have point-to-point, hub and spoke, and mesh. So the hub as point-to-point is not named. Mostly we're going to talk about this in our semester 4, where we're going to talk about different types of one topologies. So we will just mess that out. We have point-to-point, one router to another. Mesh, hub and spoke. We have one major headquarter router that connects other branch routers at the hub and spoke network. And the full mesh, which is expensive, it provides high quality or high availability, but it requires that every end system be connected to every other system, which is very expensive and very difficult to configure. So that's a point-to-point connectivity, which is easy and fast connectivity, and that's it. And we have the hub and the logical format of the point-to-point connection is all nodes or end nodes will communicate in a point-to-point network, can be physically connected via a number of intermediate devices. So it does not mean that when you have a router here and a router there, that's how they are connected. I have a router at QuantumNet right here, and my router at QuantumNet right here is connected to a router in QCell. So in that case, it does not mean that I have a cable from QCell that connects directly from Q cell to my router. No, that's not the case. Okay, so there are other devices between my router and the Q cell router, including modulators, including outdoor units, indoor units, and including times the towers and so on and so forth. So there are other things that are involved in between my router in a point-to-point network. So that's basically what it is. So we have the physical LAN topologies, we have star topology, extended star, bus, ring. All of these are different types of topologies, but this one is very bad. With the bus topology, it's bad. With extended star, it is kind of bad, and with the ring topology, somehow it's better. So with the star topology, also it's somehow, because one device failing would not affect the other. But with a bus topology, if one device fails, the entire network goes down. So we have duplex. In LAN topologies, we have duplex. Duplex is the mode of communication, okay? That is duplex. So we have mode 1 that is half, and we have mode 2 that is full. But you may be hearing about other duplex, blah, blah, blah. But these are the two that are major important duplex. We have full duplex, that is just like telephone conversation. Half duplex is like walkie-talkie communication. And we have single duplex. A lot of people will tell you that there is a single duplex. Okay, single duplex, more like a radio broadcast. Okay, that is a duplex, but it's a one side only. You will hear from the radio, but you cannot make any interference with the radio. You will just be listening, and that's it. You cannot respond. You will only listen. With a half duplex, it's just like walkie-talkie or your WhatsApp voice communications. You can play your voice, and then you release it. It goes to the recipient, and then the recipient will listen and then send back another voice. But with full duplex, I will be communicating to you directly. So full duplex is bidirectional communication. Half duplex is directional communication, and the single duplex is one-way communication. So you guys can pay attention to those things, and you take notes of this. So the media access control method, and we have the contention-based access and the control-based access. So with the contention-based access, all devices have equal right. Okay, all devices have equal right, and then nodes will be in half duplex, and they will compete for the use of the medium. Only one device can send at a time, and all of them will be ready to send at the same time, but they will have to wait for that. Next is the control access. So each node has its own time to use the medium, and we have legacy token ring LANs that are an example. So with a control base, it is more important and it's more advantageous than contention based. So contention based access would use, like where network where you have switches, they're going to use the carrier sense multiple access collision detections. Using this will make sure that they avoid any form of collision. That if a device wants to forward a frame across the media, it will have to ask if the media is free. So if a switch in this case, or if a device receives jam signal, it will have to inform all other devices that there is a jam or there is a collision along the way, and they will all withdraw back and wait until the place is clear, and then they will ask if the media is free. They will forward. That is the content. That is the best way that you. So if two devices transmit at the same time, a collision will occur. Both devices will detect the collision on the network, and the data will be sent. Both devices will be corrupted and will need to be resent. So that is one major thing. With wireless access is a different thing. It is very difficult with wireless, so therefore it uses collision avoidance to avoid totally collision in its format. So the frame is the data itself that moves across devices at the data link layer. So each frame type has three basic patterns: the header, the data, and the trailer. So the structure of the frame and the field contained in the header and the trailer depend on layer 3 protocol, that is the IP version address or the IP address. So those are the headers, those are the informations that are involved in a frame field, so that you can read about it, and you have these things, you can go through it and then you read it. Alright, so guys, so I'm just gonna have to stop right here, and in the next video I will talk about how to call it, chapter 5, and where we're going to talk about the network layer. But each we're just going to have to complete this. So each data link frame contains the source data link address of the NIC card sending the frame, and the destination data link address of the NIC card received. So that is talking about the MAC address. So we have two address types. We have the MAC address that we call as a physical address, or you can call it a layer 2 address, or you can call it as a physical address. And we have the IP address, which can be called layer 3 address, it can be called network layer address, or it can also be called as a logical address. It's important that all these 4 names that I'm giving to each of these addresses, you take note of it, and then you make sure that you understand them. So the physical layer is more like the name of a person. Sorry, the physical address, that is the MAC address, is like the name of a person. It continues to live with the person, and the IP address is more like the location of a person, which keeps changing from one place to another. Alright, so LAN and WAN frames, so that means that a data or a frame can travel across any type of media without any problems. It can go through copper, through fiber optic, or anyhow. So data is flexible to move across any, and then you will have to. So data link layer protocols, including Ethernet and all these type that we had, DLC, frame relay, pointer. We're going to talk about all of these in our semester 4. All of them would be used to forward frame. So that is the end of the chapter. That's a summary. We talked about the physical layer protocols. We talk about building a simple network using appropriate media. We explain the role of the data link layer and compare the media access control technology. So that's basically what we said here right at this at the end of this video. So I see you guys in my next video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please ask me. I'll be right here to